it would mean more here saying that they have never won a Super Bowl, and they've been to several since 1968.
Right.
But winning one here in Cincinnati, man, it's at the top of my list. I think I can't even put it into words. It would be insane. And I think the city is deserving, man, this organization.
And I know consistency between him and his father, I know that's something that those quiet backroom conversations, I can imagine what they were. You're going to dog him out. Dog him out.
Oh, yeah.
See, these are moments where I wish I had a time machine because I'd love to see Orlando Brown take on his son.
These guys practice so hard, like with attention to detail, with high energy and effort. They don't let a ball go over their head. I've seen them in practice on air go up and catch a ball and fall right on their ass. It just is what it is, but that's the commitment that they make to their craft, man. And when you got those type of guys, I mean, Flack is finding a way to make sure we get it done.
Yeah, give me the keys to the kingdom, 'cause I came, I saw, I conquered it all.
All right, Priest, it's that time again, my friend. Here we are, another episode of the Home Stretch, and we've got a very special guest joining us on this episode. But before we get to that, how you feeling?
I'm doing pretty good.
Pretty good?
Yeah, I woke up on the right side of the bed.
Okay.
Yeah, feeling good.
You always wake up on the right side, or are you a left side? You ever get off on the left side?
I'm actually a right side sleeper.
You are? I'm a
Yeah.
left side sleeper.
Yeah, left side.
Yeah. Maybe that's why we're sitting in the chairs we're sitting in, because I'm normally on this side. You're normally on that side.
Here's a good day for me. So
Yeah.
good day, a wonderful day for me when I'm waking up is when I'm waking and I'm not having any numbness, any tingling sensation, loss of feeling. This can occur in my upper extremities or lower. It's just it's like a dartboard. Just throw a dart, man. That's probably where I had an injury at. But for the most part, I've been taking care of myself, getting back into the weight room as well. Anytime I can get into a pool and do a workout, I much more prefer that, because
Okay.
it just the buoyancy, it takes the pressure off of the body. So much better workout, Now for Orlando, I don't know what he would say is the best type of workout that he would consider, but
Yeah,
we're on here, so we'll see.
Well, let's introduce Orlando here. But before we do, so it's always a game time decision for you every day you wake up? It's a game time decision?
Game time decision. We're not sure how we're coming out the locker room.
Am I eating breakfast today? I don't know. Game time decision. Am I working out today? Game time decision. All right. Our guest is Super Bowl champion, a 4-time Pro Bowler, and a unanimous All-American in 2017, 2-time Big 12 Offensive Lineman of the Year, and 2-time First Team All-Big 12. He goes by the name Orlando Brown Jr., and he also plays him in real life. What's up, Orlando Brown Jr.? How are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. It's cold as hell here in Cincinnati, but in the summertime, I do some pool workouts.
Yeah, so he brings up the pool workouts. You see, I'm telling you, man, keeping him buoyant. You know what I mean? Keeping the body floating and taking a little bit of the pressure off of that. So, in terms of pressure, though, Orlando, I know you've been applying a lot of pressure, man. As a offensive lineman, man, how does that feel? The type of pressure you're applying there on game day.
Yeah, no, man. I mean, it's very taxing on the body physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, even. But for some odd reason, man, I feel like this is what God wanted me to do. It's what I was born to do. I've been very blessed, man, obviously with my bloodlines and all the knowledge that my dad gave me, to be able to keep me going and, even, continue for me to grow as a pro, like hiring a nutritionist, full-time nutritionist this year, taking those type of things to the next level, man. I want to do this as long as I can, but it is physically taxing. I can't even lie to you about that.
Yeah, talking about it being taxing and talking about your regimen, also mentioning your father, it's been a long time since I've seen you. Man, I think it's been a very long time. Quite the size you've grown into since the last time that I've seen you. You're a big man.
Yeah, no, man, it's crazy. The last time I saw you was in 2003. I believe you had got nominated for the Ed Block Courage Award. I think you were Kansas City at the time. And John Mackey was there. I was there because my dad got nominated as well for it being like his first year back in a few years after the eye injury. And John Mackey gave me a book called Blazing Trails. I'm looking at it right now. But I got your autograph in this book somewhere. I don't know where it is, but I got your autograph in this book somewhere, you and John Mackey, man. So it's been a long time.
Now I have to point this out. Now I'm looking over your shoulder and I see a number of collectibles that you have there.
Oh yeah.
Glad you're diving into this.
My co-host here, Mark, he has quite the collectible as well over his shoulder
Yeah.
sometimes when he's
Yeah.
showing his podcast. So do you have anything in common? You can see something back there that you
I'm
might
gonna
have.
spot it right now. This, he's a DC guy for sure. We got Joker, we
Yeah.
got Batman. So he's in the
Yeah.
DC universe.
Yeah.
There's a big difference between DC and Marvel, right? Marvel to me is like more fun. It's more zany. They got crazy powers and all that stuff. DC's like darker,
Yeah.
It's more about like the storytelling. It's about, the backstory on these characters. So is that kind of how you fell into DC, Orlando?
Yeah. So it's funny you bring that up, man. I got about 300 Funkos over here.
Whoa,
I can't even show
300.
them
Let's
all. Yeah, I got
go.
like 300 of these things, but I do have a lot of Marvel. I would tell you my favorite superhero of all time is Daredevil.
Okay.
Um, I love Daredevil, but like you said with DC, man, it's just something about it. You know what I mean?
hmm
It's a little bit darker. It's got like just a little bit more eerie vibe. I don't know. I like the superheroes. I like a lot of the DC superheroes. Green Lantern, I mean, he
Love
always go
Green
crazy.
Lantern, man.
I would say
Yeah.
Green Lantern was one that I could probably relate to, but the Daredevil, tell me a little bit, go a little bit into that perspective. Why Daredevil?
Yeah, man, I don't know. Sometimes I just feel like I'm weird as hell.
You're
I
with friends and family. This is a safe space now, Orlando. Safe space.
yeah,
I
man,
own
I don't
Daredevil on DVD, and no one does. No one liked that
so
movie, but I own it.
yeah.
So
No, I love that movie, man, with
yeah,
Ben Affleck and
sure.
yeah, what's the lecturer? What's her name?
Jennifer Garner.
J-
Yeah, yeah,
Hot as
yeah.
hell.
I,
Sexy as
I'm a
anyway,
married man, but I'll just blink twice. All right, I'll just blink twice.
but no, man, I don't know. I always thought it was cool his story. I've been wearing glasses since I was 4 years old. I got bad eyesight. Daredevil's blind. Um, I don't know, man. I just thought Matt Murdock was he just had a hell of a story. I don't know. Something about it just always seemed more personable and more relatable than some of the other Marvel characters.
Yeah, that makes sense, man.
Yeah, yeah.
I too didn't have good sight from an early age, so I was always rocking the eye goggles. We had these
Yeah.
things back in the day called rec specs. This is how
I
old
know
I
about
am.
it.
You know about rec specs?
Oh yeah.
These were like they looked like racquetball goggles,
I
and they
remember.
had these really bad
Yeah.
straps, man. And if you were the dude out there rocking the rec specs, it was like not cool. You know what I mean? Unless you were super pro and you're amazing at what you did. But yeah, I definitely had the bad eyesight as well and bad hearing as well, man. So playing sports, it's interesting that you took to comic books because people find themselves in some of these characters. So clearly you did with Daredevil. So very cool.
Yeah. No, I can definitely relate in that area.
Nice.
Yeah, y'all talked about eyesight. So here's a little quick fact. So 1998, Orlando.
We're diving
I-
right in?
Yeah, I decided
Okay.
to I decided that I think I'm gonna do LASIK surgery. Right.
Okay.
So it's been a number of years, and it wasn't until 2024, 1998 to 2024 before I go in for my checkup.
Okay.
This is the second time I've had a checkup, right? So I go in thinking that I was going to be able to just get that improved LASIK done again. So I go see the eye doctor, and he tells me, he says, if I was you, I would leave it alone. Don't correct the LASIK, leave it as it is, because there's no guarantee that if I go in there and try to fix it, your eyesight will get better. It'll probably worsen. So, it's between myself, you, and Orlando. Man, we got some issues right here.
Yeah, yeah. No one let us drive the tour bus. All right, we're passenger only on that tour bus. I didn't know that. So you had LASIK?
LASIK
Reese?
still, some 1998. It's still rocking
Oh,
now.
that's early LASIK. So you
very
had
early.
you had some experimental LASIK. Was this like, hey, I know a guy, $100? Or
No,
was this
no. Actually, it was a credible doctor, obviously, and
Yeah.
they're in Baltimore at that
Yeah.
time. So it worked out, but it was a chance for me to actually, and it's one of those things that was in the family. The father did it, and
Yeah.
now the son does it as well. And so the practice has changed over. So he's doing really well for himself.
Yeah. Well, look, we'd be remiss if we didn't bring this up now. Orlando, I grew up outside the Cleveland area, so diehard Browns fan here
Yeah.
forever and ever. It's been nothing but suffering, nothing but pain. So obviously, I watched your dad play, and I remember like it was yesterday that horrific accident, seeing a flag go into your dad's face mask and
Yeah.
damage his eyesight. So, from your perspective, can you tell us what that experience was like for you? Seeing your father have to deal with something like that, and how did it change just the environment, family? How did you guys, approach things going forward after that? Like, what lessons came out of
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, man, a lot. A lot changed for us as a family. I think it's crazy that I remember it happening because I was 3 years old when it happened. But we were in the suite, and I just remember everybody. I was playing red light, green light with my younger brother, who's a year younger than me, and some of my cousins. I just remember everybody in the suite just came to a stop, and from there, I don't even know if I realized what happened until he came home with the eye patch on his eye, man. But a lot of things changed, I think, for him, especially, man, just with my parents separated after that, eventually divorced. He was no longer playing with the Browns. He came back and playing in Baltimore. He had to train to come back. It was a from that point in 1999 to 2003 when he came back, it was probably, I believe, a lot harder for him, than that transition from college to the NFL was. He had to make it back to the league a second time, and there was a 4-year window practically in there where, he wasn't involved from year 2000, 2001, 2002. And so man, I mean, it changed a lot for him. But I think for me, looking back on it as a young kid and being in this position today in my 8th year in the NFL, knowing what he went through after that, to get back to the point of being a full-time starter in this league and one of the best right tackles, I mean, I can't. I mean, that's who he is. That's what that's why I'm able to push and do the things I'm able to do.
And did you found yourself, I guess, afforded the opportunity to possibly spend more time with him during that period as well? Like,
Yeah,
because if you're 3 years old when that happens, and it's now dad is around more, right?
yeah.
Did you soak up as much time as you could? Like,
Oh,
did
for
he?
sure.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure, man. I definitely did, especially during that time. I remember it wasn't until around 2002 where I think he went down to IMG at the time. I think it was in Miami, and maybe they had just started off-season program football stuff for guys. And I don't know, it might have even had a different name at the time, but I just remember my dad went down there to start training about a year before he started back up in the league. But yeah, man, I definitely spent as much time with him as I could during that time period.
Yeah, you know that initial phase when you're coming back off of an injury and spending time away from the game and from the field and your teammates, it can be tough. It can be one of those situations where I spent an entire off season, practicing on a separate field. And then when the season started in 2007, I spent that first 8 games. I couldn't be involved in any of the team play. So for 8 games and also the preseason, I literally just ran my plays on air, right? I had to pretend that there was a lineman in front of me.
You had to pretend Ray Lewis was right there haunting you.
Yeah, I had to pretend everything that, there's the A gap, there's the B gap.
Right.
I would run a perimeter run, but I couldn't be involved with the team. So it's one of those things that is a tough transition to be able to come back from something like that. But Orlando, I definitely have to go back, man, to some of those earlier years, man. And this is before the eye injury, of course. Your temperament. I'm looking at your temperament and your poise, your calm.
Yeah.
It's what a lineman needs. When I think of linemen, I kind of compare them to two individuals. I had Brian Waters was my left guard in Kansas City, right?
Oh yeah,
He was a dog, right? You get it. You understand.
Oh yeah.
Will Shield, Hall of Famer. He was on my right side, right? He was a technician. He was going to beat you with his technique. He wasn't going to worry about being overly aggressive. If he needed to be aggressive, he could be. But he'd rather beat you with his technique and his footwork, right? So that's one of the things now that I'm looking at you and I'm saying, okay, what characteristics do you feel that you were able to have from your dad, man? Because there was a mean streak that he had. And let me tell you, the thing that I loved about that ability of how aggressive your father was is that when it came to get back, I'm talking about any defender that hit me the wrong way, it could be in practice. your dad Zeus was going to step up and say something about it, right? There was not one thing that was going to go past him, in terms of him having something to say about it. So how vocal are you as a lineman? I'm very curious to hear this.
Man, very, man. I can give you so many examples. I carry a lot of those same traits just because, that was my mentor, my
That's right.
sensei, my guru, so a lot of the mentality things, all of that stuff is transferred over in my game. And recently, just this past Sunday, man, I had a moment where I got a necessary roughness penalty that ended up hurting our team, but it was a similar situation for me in terms of just the reasoning behind it. But yeah, man, it's the way that I learned to play the game. And so, he would always talk about, having your teammates back.
That's right.
I genuinely play the game for the respect of my peers. And, that's at the top of my list in terms of what's most important to me. And to be able to Chase Brown, for example, we do a lot of different things with the way that we chip with our backs. And sometimes, Chase Brown is 5'9". They do not see him behind me, these D
Yeah.
linemen. And I mean, I can't tell you how many times he lit somebody up. And, we practice it though,
Yeah.
and in training camp, we're practicing that. And so this year DN has no idea. I'm not going to say the name. There's no idea. Chase Brown comes through late. I mean, clean. He didn't know. He's in the middle of his move. He didn't see him. Chase Brown lays him out. He gets up. He rushed Chase Brown. Next thing I know, man, I'm throwing punches and got the defensive lineman helmet off, man. That's why I say it's just natural instinct. It's in me. You know what I mean? That's how I was raised to play the game.
Yeah, they talk about it's either got to be on you or in you, and I definitely know it's in him, because
absolutely.
But we would have practices, and if there was something that was said by the defense, guaranteed his father was going to speak up and have something to say about it. If someone just grabbed you the wrong way, he would actually look at me and say, no, priest, we ain't letting that happen. Like, we're going to say something about that, So he was always in the face of the defense and always made it known. And in terms of just being overly aggressive, there was times where I know that they would put him in a technique to where he would kind of also be at a disadvantage sometimes, because it might be a faster guy that's going to be rushing, against him.
Yeah.
And one thing for sure, if you allow your father to get his hands on someone, it was over.
Game over.
Yeah, it was game over. And if he probably taught you this, just get your hands on him and now control him and dog him. It's one of those things that I know consistency between him and his father. I know that's something that those quiet backroom conversations, I can imagine what they were. You're going to dog him out. Dog him out.
Oh, yeah.
See, these are moments where I wish I had a time machine because I'd love to see Orlando Brown take on his son, right? Orlando Brown Jr. one-on-one, right? See what
he
would
would
go
know
down.
what's coming. I tell you that. He would know what's coming.
Well, that's the psychology of it, right? You know each other's moves, but how's this going to end, right?
Yeah. It's almost like when we played against, when I was in Kansas City and we played against the Baltimore Ravens and playing against Ray Lewis. It's one of those things, as much as intense as he was as a player, dominating as a player, he could get into the minds of offensive players. It was one of those things where I could block all of that out because I knew all the moves. I knew what was next. I knew what he was going to say, And once you have that ability, what I think he's taught his son as well with Orlando, he has the ability, I definitely know, to get into the minds of linemen. You know what I mean? He's going to talk them out. You're going to start talking them out before they even start lining up,
Oh, yeah. No, I can do that. No, easy. No problem. No problem.
Breaking news from Bet365. New customers, Priest, $5. You just bet that and you can get $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. So sign up, place a bet for $5 and get $200 in bonus bets, win or lose.
Bonus bets can be used on the spread, player props, futures, and so much more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365.
Gambling problem? Call or text 1-800-GAMBLER in Arizona, Colorado, Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maryland, North Carolina, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, and Virginia. Or 1-800-BETS-OFF in Iowa. 21 plus only. 18 plus in Kentucky. Please gamble responsibly, and you must be present in Arizona, Colorado, Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, and Kentucky, as well as Louisiana and select parishes. Maryland, North Carolina, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, and Virginia. $10 minimum deposit required. Terms and conditions apply. In-app only. I love that everybody talking right now has played for the Baltimore Ravens, or who we're talking about has played for the, except for me. I've been in the stadium though. I've been inside the stadium. That's as close as I've gotten to that field. All right, I want to ask you about this, and I'll use a comic book analogy for this one since we're talking DC earlier. All right, so you have Flash, and of course there's Reverse Flash. So who's the opposite of you in the league that when you face off and you're on that line? Who's your Reverse Flash when you're taking on, right now in the NFL? Like maybe you circle it on the calendar. You're like, oh, I can't wait to get a piece of this.
I hate the Pittsburgh Steelers. Like, I mean, I don't like them. So anytime I get to play the Steelers,
Yeah. Okay.
whoever they got lined up over me, I do feel like, man, the best defense in football is Myles Garrett. I got a ton of respect for his game.
Yeah.
Man,
5
I'm
sacks
always
in one
excited for
game the
that.
other night, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I love playing him though, man. I really do, because man, he's such a unique talent. And, when you think about what it takes to, garner the respect of your peers and making it to the Hall of Fame, hopefully one day, man, those are some of the games that are always gonna come to mind.
Nice. Now, one question I always want to ask linemen is how is not every single one of you hurt after every play? I mean, it's just pile, next play, pile, next play, pile.
Yeah.
It's like arms pointing this way, legs going that way. You guys are headbutting, How do you guys stay safe in there, man? Is there sort of like a rules of war that you have? You just don't do this and you respect that? Like, is there an unspoken thing that you do and don't do when it comes to that down in the trenches?
Yeah, I mean, it's a few things, man. Always keep your feet moving for one.
Okay.
That's like my biggest thing. I'm always gonna try to keep my feet moving, and I'm never gonna just stop in the hole. So, those two things, I think are two things that keep me safe, man. But you just got to develop that sixth sense for it. Priest can talk about it. He played running back at a high level for a long time. Like,
Yep.
it's a feel. You understand that as you're going down, this guy is coming to spear my head. So I got to turn and torque my body because this guy's got my right leg like this, and I can see the other guy. You got to be able to feel that. As crazy as it sounds, you got to be able to feel that. And same thing kind of goes for offensive line when, I know I'm on the front side of a run and it's a downhill run and the running back's going to be basically coming down because he's one-on-one with the safety and there's not a lot of space. He's going to have to run through my outside knee. So let me put that pressure into this linebacker and move him an extra few inches so I can get my legs and knee out the way. You know what I mean?
So much going on, you know what I mean?
Yeah, he
Yeah,
talked about
it is.
footwork, and it makes a big difference. For a running back, it's open step, crossover, downhill. You're reading the lineman, right? You're trying to get that shade of that defender to be which shade of your defender is going to be on. Is your offensive line going to be on that the right side or the left side are going to be centered up on them? So I was talking about a few things in terms of like protecting yourself. All right, Orlando.
Yeah.
So as a
Yes.
lineman, you think about Myles Garrett, you think of Michael Parsons. How do you, as a lineman, make sure that you protect yourself in terms of going one-on-one with these guys that have tremendous ability on the defensive side of the ball?
Yeah, man. I think just being prepared for how they feel. You know what I mean? Like when you play a combative position or you're a wrestler or you're a UFC fighter or something like that, where it's a lot of hand-to-hand, one-on-one type of fighting, you got to know how someone feels. You know what I mean? And that's what I use film to study for. That's something that I learned from my dad very early on when learning the game of football is how does this person feel? And once I know what you feel like, it's gonna be hell for you for a long because there's no way once I understand how you work leverage, how you lean, how you recover from a lean, how you initially make contact, once I feel all those things, it helps me. It helps me a lot. And so it helps me with my game, man. So that's the way that I think I really defend myself is just really knowing how these guys how they feel, you know what I mean? How they like to lean and what moves they like to work off their third or fifth step, all those different type of things.
Yeah, he talks about defending yourself. There's some hidden secrets that I used to do. I don't know if you remember, Mark, or Orlando. Like a soccer player on their lower extremities, they have these soccer guards.
Shin guards.
The shin guards,
Yeah,
right?
sure.
There were literally
I have some on right now.
Yeah, there was some games, Orlando, that depending on who I would be playing, Pittsburgh was one of them, right? One of those teams that you
Yeah.
said, I know how you feel about the Steelers. I feel the
Yeah.
same way, right? Sentiments the same way.
Yeah.
But there would be certain teams that I know that they were going to tackle me low.
Mm-hmm.
They were going to hit at my shins. They were going to try to break my ankles. They were going to hit at the knees. And it was just one of those things that I had to just gear up for. So sometimes there was like these like shin guards that I would use with tape and guards and plastic. And I would actually wrap the side of my legs with them because I already knew they were going to be targeting that side of the body, right? So alignment, I think, also is a little bit different. But, you know, now there's some rule changes that are in the game now in terms of like the way that you approach a defender offensively and defensively. Is there a rule change that you believe Orlando has helped linemen that you think that helps?
The not cutting guys outside the box, like
Yes.
pulling around on the perimeter, DBs not being able to cut you anymore. That really has helped. Something I do wish they would take out of the game is, when D linemen run some of these pick stunts. I mean, they come, Patrick Queen in Pittsburgh, for example, man, he's coming full speed, head of his helmet, and hitting a defenseless lineman from an off angle. If
Yes.
I play
Yeah.
left tackle, he's hitting me on my right side while I'm looking at this the defense end to my left. I can't see this guy. I do think that's the next step in terms of protection for offensive linemen. But taking that second, third level cut out of the game, now guys can run in space and not necessarily have to worry about it, man.
Yeah, getting swiped up, you running in
Yeah.
space
Oh
and then
yeah.
all of a sudden somebody comes in and just rolls you up.
Well, we saw that with
Yeah.
Scadaboo
Yes.
a couple weeks ago, man.
Exactly.
Brutal, and
Yeah.
all the comments online were just like, this is what we're talking about. This
Yeah.
is why we tried to take this out of the game, and it's unfortunate that he had to pay the price for that. But rule changes, hopefully they can benefit everybody. It's just for the betterment of the game overall too. We don't want guys
Yeah.
out there getting hurt.
Well, let me go back to this Pittsburgh thing, because I like the fact that Orlando, you brought that up.
I will rag on
Yeah.
Pittsburgh all day, every day.
Just give a little
Yeah,
segment
yeah.
to them real quick. Here's the reason why that I started to just have a dislike for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And for me is that like
Preach.
when we were in Baltimore, right? Obviously we were a newer team in 1996 starting, and then 97 I come in. When you go into your own stadium and you see more yellow terrible towels
Ugh.
waving in the stand, do you know what that feels like? It's just like, where are our fans? Are they where are they at? And it was just one of those things that I just remember so vividly when we would play the Steelers. You would just see these towels just waving in the yellow, and it just seemed like they just took over the stadium, So whenever you had a really great drive, just the momentum a lot of times just wasn't there because of the fans that they had in the stands,
Yeah, and they travel too.
and they travel in large amounts. And so, that was one of the things I could say that I definitely didn't like. And then one of my hardest hits that I actually, not that I actually gave out.
That's right, that you received.
That I received.
Yeah, we talked about this.
Yeah, came from Levon Kirkley, right? You got these guys that, to this day, if I see Orlando, to this day, if I'm at a kid's football camp, right?
Yeah.
These are kids that they're not even over the grade of 8, 8th grade, 7th grade, 6th grade. Levon is going to make sure everyone at that camp knows how hard he hit me, right? He's going to make it known.
Man.
So yeah, Kirkland is one of those guys, man. He, to this day, this is like a hit that was like 20 something years ago.
Yeah.
Please remind him who hit you the hardest, And it was one of those things where it was a simple play, Orlando. I'm just running a check down over the ball, right? 5 yards, turn around, throw my hands at the quarterback. I'm just waiting for a soft pass, keep it low, direct, just hit me in the numbers. Somehow the ball just kind of floated and it just drifted in the air. And by the time, and I knew at some point I said, I'm going to have to jump up and catch this ball, right? Because it was just kind of floating. So the faster I can get this ball, the faster I get back on my feet and I can run. It didn't work that way. Right, I jump up, Mark, I catch the ball, and I turn around, and I see Lamont Kirkland's helmet, and it was like the sun was right behind it, and that black helmet just like made the sun disappear, and I said, oh, I'm in trouble. I'm in trouble. Yeah, and so the ball went one way. You could imagine my feet went another way. Yeah, I hit the ground, but the thing that they always say about getting hit hard, just jump up very quickly like it didn't even hurt, right? I sprung up.
Smile on your face.
I sprung up, started trotting back to the line, knowing I got blown up, but it was one of those things, you just try to play it off.
Yeah.
Play it off.
That's a great story.
All right, I'm going to spin it forward a little bit to current times right now, because every weekend I feel like, Orlando, you're playing in a game that finishes 96-93. What's going on right now,
Yes.
man? Joe Flacco
Crazy.
comes to town. Numbers are all over the place. These high
Yeah,
scoring games. What's going on in Cincy? And talk
yeah.
about the transition from the unfortunate injury from Burrow and seeing Flacco come in and see what he can provide.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's been such a crazy year. Offensively, we've had a ton of success, and believe it or not,
Mhm.
man, we still left a lot of meat on the bone in terms of the yards. Hell, even the rushing game has been really good for us, I believe, this last 3 weeks, 4 weeks. I think over 6 or 7 games, man, it could have still been so much better. But we've been doing a good job offensively. But like I said, we still have left some meat on the bone in certain areas and certain situations. That's always, even though we scoring 40 something points, um, that's still sometimes like a hard pill to swallow, man, because our standard here in Cincinnati as an offense is perfection. And then taking you into the borough, man, obviously that's so unfortunate. Losing him how we did, but I'm very thankful, man, that our front office, Coach Taylor, everybody banded together, went out and got Joe Flacco, and at 40 years old, he's playing his best ball, man. I was very fortunate to have him in Baltimore my rookie year. I learned a lot from him in terms of being a pro day to day. Hell, even what it even takes to be a quarterback in this league. And I imagine Lamar learned a lot from him as well, man. But Flax just come in. He's been working. He knows the system, which is crazy. I mean, I feel like he knew the system from the first day he walked in. You should hear him in the huddle talking to Jamar. He's like, "Hey, what do you want here? Yeah, run that."
Wow.
I mean,
That's
it's
incredible.
that's our system though. And believe it or not, even when Burrow's in there, that's our system. We got the monsters outside at X and Z
Mhm.
between T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. And I swear the only people that can stop these guys are themselves. And that's a testament. I wish every young player, I said this in front of the team last year. I wish every young player in this league could see the way that those men practice, and they will understand why they are so good. Because every day, T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, these guys practice so hard, like with attention to detail, with high energy and effort. They don't let a ball go over their head. I've seen them in practice on air go up and catch a ball and fall right on their ass. It just is what it is. But that's the commitment that they make to their craft, man. And when you got those type of guys, I mean. Flack is finding a way to make sure we get it done.
Yeah, I just between you and me, I scooped him up in
Yeah.
fantasy, and he's been helping me out a bunch. So next time you're in the huddle, just give him a knuckles from me, but don't say anything. All right, it'll be
Yes, sir.
unspoken. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I
Yeah.
want to ask one more thing. When you became a Cincinnati Bengal, when you walk
Yeah.
in the facility for the first time, do they test you on your icky shuffle? Like, do you have to do it to that's like the password to get into the room?
What's funny is I could really hit it if I needed to.
Yes,
But yeah.
yes, let's go.
Yeah, no, I can really hit it if I needed to, man. Yeah, Icky Woods, man. It's crazy. He's around a lot, just in the media and stuff. So I've seen him at a few different foundation events and some of the things I do in the city.
That's cool. That's super fun. All right, Priest, it's time for our Bet365 segment. And I want to apologize to everyone. I'm a little under the weather at the moment. So, Priest, I'm going to lean on you to help carry this segment through. Hope that's cool with you. Look, things are never ordinary with Bet365, right? Including my voice.
Yeah, with your voice, it's a different ordinary day. I suggested doing the gargle with the salt and water. I think you remember that home remedy that grandma would probably tell you. So hopefully you can try that out. But let's get down to business. Let's talk about Chiefs and Broncos.
That's right. Chiefs Broncos. Big divisional game. And at the moment, the Broncos are leading said division with the record of 8-2. The Chiefs sit at 5-4. So very, very big game, as this is the first of two meetings between these two teams. Where's your head with this game? Broncos are barely winning games. Last two by only 3 points. Chiefs lost to the Bills last week. Who's in better shape going into this game?
Yeah, well, better shape you would think of coming off of a bye week. The Chiefs would be in that position of having a better opportunity, players a lot more healthier. They've had a little bit of a break, had a chance to spend time with their families. You know, the holidays are upon us, so guys are getting ready for this deep, steep run for the end of the season in this last quarter. But I'm excited. I think that the Chiefs have an opportunity, obviously, if Mahomes plays well. I'm going to go with the player, obviously, that has the ball the majority of the time. And of course, that's going to be Mahomes. So we're going to see exactly how this matchup goes. But I think there's still a prediction that we're going to go over. And I don't think I'm going to have the likely prediction for the Chiefs. I really don't think so.
Ooh, nice tease. Okay, let's dive right in. Who needs this game more? The Broncos to shut up the doubters or the Kansas City Chiefs who are sitting at 5-4?
Ugh. You know, I got red on. I'm wearing a red shirt. So, of course, I want to go Chiefs. But, you know, if I'm doing my research and doing my commentary correctly, I think Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos have a better opportunity. I think that they need to shut up the doubters. They've won several games, obviously, here recently. They've got to have a more dominant win. And if I'm Bo Nix and I know I'm playing at home, what better opportunity to do it, you know, in your home stadium in front of your own friends and fans.
That's right. So you're taking the Broncos.
I'm taking the Broncos. It's a tough one. Now, again, we know that Mahomes is a player that, you know, he's been there, done that. This is not something new to him. Going into their home stadium, the Broncos' home stadium, is not an opportunity that can be passed by Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos. But man, the Chiefs have it bad. And the reason why I say this is because I know one thing going into, and if I just look back to the times that I've played and through my experience, it's always been a tough battle to go into Denver and acclimate yourself within a short weekend, get ready to play. You know, I've heard that, you know, there's some teams that go in a day earlier, sometimes 2 days earlier, but the less time you spend there in Denver, the less likely you'll have to get acclimated. Just get in, play the game, and get out.
That's right. Well, maybe that mile high air could help my voice. Who knows? All right. So you got the Broncos. Let's get to Priest's Beast of the Week. Who do you think is going to be the MVP of this match?
When I think about the freshest player that should be on the field, the one that has the least amount of injuries, bumps and bruises and contact, that would be Rashee Rice. But I've got to go back and I have to think of the quarterbacks. It's mono against mono. It's quarterback against quarterback. It's Bo Nix against Patrick Mahomes. So I think between those two players, those are the ones that we're going to be looking at as far as the matchup. But I think it's going to be Bo Nix that's going to edge it out. He has the advantage at home.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit of prop bet action. How many touchdowns does Bo Nix throw for?
He's got to have at least 3 touchdowns. And he's got to have a deep ball, especially a deep ball. He's got to set the mood and set it quickly and apply some pressures against the Chiefs. And if he can get a deep pass, a deep ball, a deep touchdown very quickly in the game, that's going to set the momentum. One thing you don't want to do is play behind the Broncos because, you know, the energy there, mile high, it's incredible.
And they are, if I remember correctly, currently the 3rd ranked defense in the NFL. So it's going to be a tough task for the Chiefs to come back if they get behind.
Well, absolutely. It's going to be a tough task also for the Denver Broncos, just because a number of their injuries, for whatever reason, I don't know what is going on with the Denver Broncos and their linebackers. But when you look down at the chart for guys that are doubtful, questionable, on IR, you've got some offensive linemen, some offensive guards that are on IR. They also have, of course, Alex Singleton, doubtful. He's a linebacker. Patrick Surtain, also Marvin Mims. You know, you're talking about these players that are impact players, and it's very questionable and doubtful for their ability to return.
All right, Bo Nix, 3 touchdowns. How many yards do you think he gets?
Well, you know, he's got to have over 275 yards to beat the Chiefs. You know, anything where he's trying to control the ball. But again, you know, the Broncos can at times control the ball, but it's going to take them to have at least 250, 275 yards passing.
Okay, so 275, 3 touchdowns in the air. What are we thinking about final score?
Final score. Oh man, it's always a tight one. You know, I don't think this is a blowout game. I think that the shift and the momentum of the game changes a couple of times. I'm going 21-14.
21-14. Okay.
And I think, you know what? Let me change that, Mark. You know, and the reason why I say that is because this 3-point win has been something that's plagued this team, the Denver Broncos, right? It's something that I think they're happy about having the 3-point lead and winning, because at the end of the day, you just want a W. But let me change that, right? Let me go 21-17. It's going to be a tight game.
Okay, 4 points. The Broncos have also won this year only by 4 points. They keep it so close each and every week. Okay, of these two teams, who do you envision lifting that trophy at the end of the year? The current state of things.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's a no-brainer. Broncos are 8-2, so they would be lifting the trophy if we were to take it as it stands today. But we do know that Mahomes shows up in the playoffs. But you know what? It's one of those things that the team in general, the Chiefs have to be very careful. I mean, I think Mahomes likes to walk on the thick ice, but they're on thin ice right now. And the reason why is, I say, because any one loss here in the next couple of weeks can really upset the entire season for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, you can be good in the playoffs, but you got to make it to them first.
That's right.
That's right. All right. Well, Priest, that was our Bet365 predictions and props for this week. Thanks for doing the heavy lifting. I appreciate it. And hopefully next time I talk to you, which is in mere seconds as we get back to our interview with Orlando Brown Jr., I'll sound a lot better.
Oh, absolutely, man. Get well. Talk to you soon.
Gambling problem? Call or text 1-800-GAMBLER in Arizona, Colorado, Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maryland, North Carolina, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, and Virginia. Or 1-800-BETS-OFF in Iowa. 21 plus only. 18 plus in Kentucky. Please gamble responsibly, and you must be present in Arizona, Colorado, Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, and Kentucky, as well as Louisiana and select parishes. Maryland, North Carolina, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, and Virginia. $10 minimum deposit required. Terms and conditions apply. In-app only.
You know, one of the things that I want to know, and I'm thinking about older players and now newer players and the way that the game has changed and the money has changed, Orlando. Obviously, in your 8th season, do players, you think now, the younger guys, are they thinking about playing 10 or 11 more seasons? You think they're looking at? No.
No, yeah. Like my generation, and I say my generation, I'm 29 years old.
He did say that.
He did. Man, you just broke one of my ribs, Orlando. You just broke one of my ribs, man.
My generation. Like whatever you want to say, that 2019, 2018, that's probably the last year. My rookie year was 2018. That's like the last year of the Mohicans, man. Like
Yeah.
a lot of guys don't come in with this mentality that they want to do this for 15 years. You know what I mean? That
Makes
just
sense.
doesn't, it does. It just doesn't happen anymore, man. Like, as I've been in the league and seen so many of these young men come in and out of it, you learn, with the way that NIL is working. I genuinely feel like a lot of these guys, they come to the league and they're a little burnt out. You know what I mean? Like the passion and love for the game, it just isn't there. It isn't, like, it's still a child's game to me. A lot of the things that motivated me as a child motivate me today, and I still got some new nuances and, kids and things like that. But, a lot of guys, they don't carry it like that anymore.
You just mentioned kids. I got this question for you.
Uh-oh.
So
Yeah.
there's something online. It was an influence, right? And so the dad is literally at the kitchen table. Let's say that, right? And then the child, his son, is getting ready to touch like the electric, like an outlet,
the socket.
right?
Yeah, sure.
Right, the socket. So the mom jumps in and she's like, "Baby, baby, baby, don't do that, right?" And then the dad is just like, "No, here's the time for a life lesson.
Yo.
Here's the time for a life lesson."
That's how my dad was too. He's like, "You want to ride your bike off the roof?"
That's right.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah.
And we'll see how many
you
times.
Keep shutting that door with your hand on the handle, not on the handle, but on the edge of the door.
Yeah.
Okay, you better stop, right? So let me ask you this. Now, mentioning kids and stuff like that. Where are you at? How are you teaching? How are you going to teach the children, man? I'm curious. Life lesson? Are you going to let the life lesson learn? Or are you going to have mom jump in there and say, no, don't do it?
No, I'm all about the life lessons, man.
Yeah, let's go.
I'm all about the life lessons because, experience is the best teacher.
That's right.
And from my experiences, things that, mistakes that I've made or good things that have happened, I've learned from that. And I treat my kids the same way. You know, my son is he'll be 2. My youngest will be 2, and on December 23rd, my oldest will be 5 this year. And my 2-year-old is just rowdy. You know, he's very irrational. He does. He's very. Yeah, he doesn't care. You know what I mean? Like my 4-year-old, he's cautious. He's patient. He's kind of scary. He's like, man. I'm like, hey, that outlet is shock you. What's the shock? Oh, I don't want to get shot. I don't know what that. My 2-year-old, 1-year-old, he'll hear that. He want to stick a finger in there, you know.
Yeah.
So hey, man, sometimes you gotta let experiences teach the lesson.
Oh, it becomes a problem when the older child teaches the younger child to do those things on purpose, right?
Oh yeah,
that's where you get caught in a pickle because you're like, why'd you do that?
That's right.
So and so told me to do it. Yeah, that's bad news, man. We used to do that to my little sister all the time, man. I feel bad. Love her.
yeah, no wrong with it.
So life lessons. He's going with life lessons.
Yeah, it's going
and the
with
reason
life
why is that
lessons.
is because I think, just coming up with his father and playing, football alongside of him.
Yeah.
It was more about the life lessons that I learned, especially with his father, you can come in here and you can hit Priest the wrong way if you want to. But there's a life lesson that you're going to learn after you do that. You know what I mean? It was one of those things. You can get aggressive with me if you want to, but there's a life lesson that you're going to learn. I'm going to dog you out, in the next place. So I was pretty certain, that's probably the way that that Orlando probably was reared at certain times. Like that life lesson, you're going to learn it that way.
Well, look,
yeah.
if these players aren't going to be playing 10, 12 years anymore because they got auditions to go to, maybe you have an audition. You want to be in a Marvel movie, a DC movie. What character would you want to play if you could dip into a superhero movie? You've thought about this. I know you have. Come on now.
Back.
Look at that haircut, man. He's got villain written all over the top of his head.
I do know
Those
that.
glasses, man. You got the diastema, if anybody knows what that is. Kudos. But you got villain vibes, man.
You know what, man? Go ahead and make me Venom.
Yeah, all right.
Okay, yeah, go ahead, man. Just go ahead and make me Venom. Why not?
Venom's a good time. All right. Orlando Brown Jr. Comes out in the Halloween game dressed as Venom. They're like, yo, where's Orlando at? He's all ready to go. Love that. Love that. All right. So what do you want to get out of the rest of your career that you haven't been able to get out so far? Do you want to be involved in some like weird, unique play where they call you as an eligible receiver and you catch a pass for a touchdown? Do you want to throw a touchdown? Do you want what weird, unique scenario do you want to get out of football before you leave?
Man, I got a few, man. I got a few. The only selfish one I have is I told you I got bad eyesight. I wear thumb casts when I play. I'm not catching a football. Just give me a fullback. Give me that William Perry
Yeah,
refrigerator.
refrigerator Perry
fullback
call.
dive.
Let's do it.
Yeah. But that's the only selfish thing, personally, man. I just, I love being able to win a Super Bowl is such a special feeling. And, for as hard as the men work in this building, starting with Zach Taylor, our front office, our ownership, and Mike Brown and the Blackburn family, man, winning a Super Bowl here in Cincinnati is at the top of my list. It's just after an experience in Kansas City, which was amazing and, special. At that time, it was the second Super Bowl, that the franchise or organization had won in the past, 3 or 4 years of the time span. And so, for as special it was, it wouldn't be as special for, it would mean more here saying that they have never won a Super Bowl, and they've been to several since 1968.
Right.
But winning one here in Cincinnati, man, it's at the top of my list. I think, I can't even put it into words. It would be insane. And I think the city is deserving, man. This organization is deserving as well.
Well, last question I have for you, and Priest, I don't know if you have any more, but can we move this Cincinnati airport into actual Cincinnati instead of having to land in Kentucky? What's the deal with this, man? Can we fix this?
Man, it's crazy. I found this out when I first got out here because, I didn't, and Priest can attest to this. Like when you play in different cities and things like that, you don't. How do I say this? Like I didn't really know the geography of Cincinnati till I got here and played here. I had no idea. Like I mean, obviously everybody knows the stadium is on the river.
Yep.
But I didn't realize Kentucky was on the other side of the river. Like I never, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I never thought like, look, that's Kentucky on the other side. You know, that never crossed my mind for whatever reason. So, you know, when I moved out here and signed out here, man, I found out shit, you'd be surprised. I mean, half of Cincinnati is in Kentucky. So
Yeah.
it's crazy. It's crazy how that works.
Yeah.
So my first game this season, the UT game, was in Columbus, in Ohio. And guess where I had to fly into?
You had to fly into Kentucky? Wait, no.
Cincy.
You had to fly into Cincy?
And then drive
all the way to Columbus?
drive up. What it was like an hour and 30 minutes, I believe, something like that.
That's
Yeah,
crazy to do it that way. Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it got me too. So I learned the geography of it real quick on that.
You're like, wait, Kentucky, what am I doing here? How long's this drive? Yeah.
Made it happen though.
Well, look, hopefully I can drag Priest down to Cincinnati. We'll all hit Kings Island together, all right? Can we do this?
Would love to.
Are you all in on Kings Island?
I am, man. I'll bring them kids. I'll bring my kids.
Yeah, let's
do
go.
it.
Well, Priest, so here's the thing. Priest doesn't like roller coasters, so we're going to have to coax him in to getting on some of these coasters. So
yeah, so Orlando, here it is. This is the thing with the roller coasters. Like, even with my kids, if we're going to go to the amusement park, I'm all good. I'm all in for it. But I always tell them, you got one roller coaster ride with me. I'm only going to do one ride and that's it. So you better pick the best one.
Choose wisely.
Yeah. And you're only going to get one. So as they're going about 4 or 5 times around and going back on that roller coaster or another one, I said, and they're like, Dad, where are you at? You know, I'm like, I'm done. I only can do one. Only one and done.
Yeah, I can't fit on them. So that's what I say.
That's your way out. That's your way out. Yeah, it doesn't work for me. It doesn't work for me. All right. Well, it is the home to funk, and now it's the home to Orlando Brown Jr. and maybe one day a Super Bowl title. Man, I wish you nothing but the best of luck there in Cincinnati. Much continued success with your career, and thank you for joining us on the home stretch today, Orlando.
Of course, man. I appreciate you guys having me on, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, now we just got to get your kids to meet Priest too and have them sign a book. We'll get this life full circle thing going.
That's crazy.
Yeah, look forward to meeting the family at some point down the line. And it was a great opportunity to have you on the show. Thank you.
Of course. Appreciate you.
This has been a Playmaker production.